Whether you're looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for, and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. All right, here's the moment I've been waiting for right here. Roe Contra with Anna Devlantis. Richard Roeper has stepped into the studio, and Richard did a sit-down with Woody Allen over the weekend. He was in town to promote a new movie, Irrational Man, right, with Emma Stone and Joaquin Phoenix.
That is correct.
And some other luminaries along the way. And you sat down, you talked to him for a little over an hour, and he dealt with everything from the movie to the Oscars to Donald Trump to the Kardashians and Twitter.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
That is a lot of ground to cover.
Absolutely. You know, Woody Allen is just shy of 80 now. And as you guys well know, he came up, as a teenager writing jokes for TV shows. And then, of course, was a stand-up comic and started doing movies a half century ago. He's done 48 films that he's directed and probably another 20 that he's either acted in or produced or written. So basically, as you know, he does about one movie a year. So he's in town to promote An Irrational Man. But he's, Roe, of course, is a legendary fan of Woody Allen. And I was just talking to him Saturday. I'm like, he looks exactly like Woody Allen. He sounds exactly like Woody Allen. Same glasses, khakis. The same look, but he's all there. I thought, at almost 80, that he might be just not out of it at all, of course, because he's still making these films, but a step slow, and he was borderline affable, for Woody Allen. Wow. I mean, actually, very upbeat, and very aware of the world around him, and more than willing to talk about more than just the movie. He wasn't like, let's just talk about the film.
And I want to, Woody Allen is a very polarizing guy now.
Absolutely,
sure is.
He always was polarizing as a comedian to some degree, because there are people who go, I just don't get him. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll never forget one of the first days when I was working at CNN in the mid 2000s with Glenn Beck. And I was with Glenn Beck, and we're walking down a street in New York. He goes, "Do you understand Woody Allen?" And I said, "I do. I don't trust people who do."
That's fantastic.
And the rest is history. I'm a huge fan of his comedy. His personal life is a mess. A lot of people are, but I would like to separate the art and the artist from all the rest of that. Although he does have one of the longstanding marriages in Hollywood.
Yeah,
it's so odd. I mean, because whether or not any of the more insidious allegations are true, and he's never been brought up on charges, but and it wasn't his daughter, and he wasn't married to Mia Farrow, but it's still really weird, because she did adopt Soon Yi, and he then ended up with her. They've been together for 21 years, which is well mentioned. It makes it almost makes it more bizarre.
It's unbelievable that it's lasted that long.
Yeah,
I mean, who would have thought that? But I mean, there were the allegations of abuse of another family member. There was the support of Roman Polanski.
That did not pan out.
No, it
not
didn't.
At all.
It didn't. But he supported Roman Polanski about his whole situation. Said that he's kind of done his time and should come back and be allowed to be here.
I think Roman Polanski's fine where he's at. So
right.
Right. I don't know, but
not here.
It contributes to the reasons I think he's so polarizing when you sum up all those things in his
person. I acknowledge he's polarizing, but I'm a big fan of Woody Allen's, especially his earlier, funnier films. To quote him,
look at you.
That is an actual quote from Woody
Wow,
Allen.
that's awesome.
So yeah. All right, let's talk about. Let's play some of this. This is absolutely fascinating. You start off talking about the film, right?
Yeah, in the film, Joaquin Phoenix plays a professor who's very depressed. He's on this, this beautiful campus in Rhode Island, and he's just having a hard time just finding a reason to live. And then he decides he's going to commit the perfect murder, and that just makes him just kind of love life, because now he has something to really get excited about. And, Woody Allen's kind of explored this in other movies, Crimes and Misdemeanors and Match Point and Cassandra. So I asked him, like, what is it? Because we all, I think, have that moment every once in a while. Like, even those horrible fugitives were on the run a little while ago. We don't condone anything they do, but we think, I bet I'd be better about getting away. I wouldn't go to my cousin's house 2 blocks from where the crime was committed, where they always do. So I asked him about that. Like, what is it about it that we kind of find fascinating about trying to get away with crime?
I mean, that's the stuff of drama, the stuff of crime and murder and intrigue and tragedy. That's all the stuff of drama. And so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, there are many things I think of. One thing is ideal baseball teams. Another thing is, the 20 best movies I've ever seen. And another thing is how to commit a perfect murder. And gradually I go to sleep because I'm thinking and thinking. But that is something that it crosses everybody's mind just playfully.
I think he also, in his work, a constant theme is can you get away with doing the wrong thing, and how it plagues people with an overactive conscience that they can't, and that goes all the way. That runs through his work all the way, including Take the Money and Run, which was just a farce. But
that's a good point. And even in this film, I mean, there's clearly a lot of projecting going on because Joaquin Phoenix is playing a professor who's in his 40s, and of course he ends up having a romance with Emma Stone, who's playing a college student.
Right. I wonder where he got that. All right. Now he legendarily does not attend the Oscars, including the Oscars in the 1970s, in which he won. The Annie Hall swept.
Right.
Essentially the Oscars, and was considered, and still to this day considered one of the best romantic comedies, if not the best romantic comedy ever filmed. And he and also romantic comedies never win Oscars.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the last pure romantic comedy that did win an Oscar. That was 1977. He's got 4 altogether, mostly for writing.
So he doesn't go, and you asked him, what's that all about?
Yeah, I'm not a big awards person for work. I don't feel that one can say that my movie is better than Martin Scorsese's movie or Steven Spielberg's movie, or Martin's movie is better than my movie. His movie is wonderful and Spielberg's is wonderful, and they can. I don't mind if people say these are our 5 favorite movies this year or something, but to say this is the best, I just don't believe anyone has the credentials to say that. It's very subjective. Your best is not my best,
right.
So I don't believe in it.
So Richard asked him, how do you get the Oscars then? Because obviously you have them.
So what do they do then? Do they mail it to you? Do you mail one day at the office and there's a gold trophy in there? You put it on a shelf somewhere, or?
Good question.
Do you know where they're at?
Yeah, mine are in my closet, up in my closet.
Really?
But I don't really know. I guess they come in the mail.
Just like a rather heavy box comes in.
I guess you get a delivery in the mail.
He doesn't even know. That's great.
Forget about stealing somebody's Social Security check. There, postal carriers in New York. That's your plan right there.
Oh, gosh.
All right, hold on a second. He talks about Trump, the Kardashians, and Twitter. But first, Esmeralda Leon's got the WGN traffic trouble spots. Richard Roeper is with us. He sat down with Woody Allen over the weekend here in Chicago. And, of course, the biggest story in the nation, no matter what you do, is Donald Trump. And he made big news on Saturday, right as you were sitting down for this interview, right?
Yeah, in fact, I told Woody about the latest quote from Donald Trump about Senator McCain. He hadn't heard that one yet, and he had the reaction to that.
He's outrageous, and that's his MO, to be outrageous, and it's working for him. And it's not going to work in a serious way because he's not going to get the nomination, and if he got the nomination, he'd be swamped in the election. It would be a landslide against him.
That's optimistic of him. That's the first time I've ever heard Woody Allen be optimistic about anything.
That's so true.
I mean,
you never hear that.
I'm not sure that's true. I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to really wonder about humanity here. But here he is talking about Jeb Bush.
But he's in order to beef up his own image and his own product, and to shake up the political process and the Republican Party. He's outrageous. He knows he can't win, and so he can afford to be outrageous. Jeb Bush can't be outrageous because, Jeb Bush is a viable contender. I don't think the Republicans really have any contender who can win, but Jeb Bush is a credible human being, but as a candidate.
Okay. And here's the Kardashian effect. You take him down this idea of like instant celebrity. What's the
and just the idea that people can become famous for being famous, because of course, like when Woody Allen was coming up, he was somebody who wrote and performed and directed, and that was the way it used to be. I was just curious as to what his take would be on that type of celebrity.
Yeah, they know that being famous is in. They see that as an end. That fame itself is an end. I was satirizing that into Rome with Love, with what's his name, the great Italian Benigni, and he was famous for being famous, and people are famous because fame as an end in itself has become an object. But serious people don't buy into that. I mean, if a young woman wants to be an actress, she will not she will not idolize the Kardashians. She will idolize Emma Stone and Scarlett Johansson and people that, become actresses and can act and can do something and do something. But for teenage kids at home, in some little town somewhere, and they're thinking, God, I want to be famous. And famous itself becomes the end.
Mm-hmm. That's as good a summation as I can imagine about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny because I like that though. He forgets the movie and he forgets Roberto Benigni for a second.
I
and
forget that.
Well, you did 48 movies.
No, and he's worked with so many greats.
I'm already to the point where everyone's about to say, what's his name?
But he's really loving this Emma Stone, as everybody is, and talking about how she has it all and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. He thinks
She's a
she's
great
the,
actress.
yeah. He's actually going to do another movie with her next year.
There'll be a third then, right?
The second. That'll be the second.
Second. All right, and then on the issue of Twitter, I love this.
I don't Twitter. I'd never be able to do it. I'd have no interest in it, or reading it, or seeing it, or doing it, or I'm too preoccupied with my own stuff. I'm shallow. I want to make the movies. I want to watch the Knicks. I want to, take a walk with my wife and practice my clarinet. I'm just not into the real world.
Practices clarinet. He's 80. He's still
Hey,
practicing.
well, he's been playing for a half a century. That
Right.
he always usually is. If he's not watching a basketball game, he's playing his clarinet in a club. He told me he once lived in Chicago for a month because he was playing Mr. Kelly's and staying at the mansion with Hef on State Parkway back in the day.
Oh my God!
So but he said he's no good. So he still practices.
That's so
Are
great.
you ever going to get
At
good? And he
80.
goes, no, I'm not.
Oh my God! Oh, I know. I mean, Mr. Kelly's. It was legendary. Mr. Kelly's where Gibson's is now. I think a lot of people don't even realize that.
Yeah.
And it was the most legendary club in the Midwest. One of the most legendary in the world, actually, for rising entertainers and comedians and small musical acts and things like that.
Yeah,
You can just
absolutely.
imagine what that must have been like with him and Hef. Well, all right. In the top 5 at 5, we'll get to Richard explaining Twitter to him, which is really an amazing. This is an amazing exchange between this Oscar winner and world famous film critic. Also, where he sees himself in life. And this is a few more thoughts on Trump that we didn't play for you there. So stay tuned. Top 5 coming your way after 5 o'clock. Great work. You can see this right now at ChicagoSunTimes.com, right?
That's correct.
And it's going to be your story. You can also see it in print tomorrow.
That's correct.
As well.
Absolutely.
All right.